Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's the Guilty Gamer and I am back with episode 6 of my Magical Painter series. So in the previous episode, Susanna was actually searching for love. If you did watch that previous episode, you would know that it was very dramatic. It was a bit of a struggle, but in the end, she managed to find it with Wilbur Hay, who was actually one of the sages at the magic realm. So I have had Wilbur move into her place just because, I thought it would be a bit easier for him to move in just because, it's easier to kind of like plan for a wedding and stuff when you have control over both Sims. So I was quickly just checking his spellcaster knowledge and I didn't actually notice, but Wilbur actually he has mastered the mischief skill or the mischief, what do you call it? The mischief something. And he has max alchemy. Now, I don't know if this is a fact, but I'm assuming that if you're a sage of a particular area, then you have mastered that area. I definitely must check that to see if that's the case. But that aside, I've decided to just bring him here to the gallery just to give Susanna a break. Just because, now that they're living together, I suppose it's handy to have a second set of hands to help out. And also, I wanted to kind of make sure that Susanna's needs were maxed, just because I would like them to get married in this episode. So he's here and he's basically just going to be ringing up the customers, scrapping bad paintings, and restocking all the same things that Susanna used to do. And it shouldn't be too difficult. He doesn't really need to have a particularly high skill in anything. So, yeah, he's the perfect person for the job. I did want to mention that I do, on a completely separate note, I do actually have a Mod The Sims page, and I recently uploaded an occult mod, what's more so CC. So it's called Moon Crystal. So for those of you who are familiar with the Sims Werewolf pack, we actually got a item that kind of shows us the phases of the moon. What I actually ended up doing was remeshing it with the crystals that are found in the magic realm. So if you hover over the crystals, they'll actually show you the phases of the moon. And because the spellcasters use the moon as well, I thought it would be a really great option to have something like that, but more kind of in the vein of the realm of magic. So I'll leave the link below for the page, but it's definitely really handy. Now, the crystals are quite big, but if you have like a housing estate, for example, they look really, really good, so you can kind of just hover over them to kind of check the phases of the moon. I know we can do that anyway, but I think they just look really nice in game. So, yeah, so in this episode, they're gonna get married. So, I actually did I do have a cathedral. The cathedral is a strong word. I have a cathedral in this world specifically for spellcasters where they can get married, and like you'll see that in a minute or two. But I really wanted to add a building or an option for spellcasters to get married just because I felt like it would make it a bit more like festive, a bit more interesting if they had a designated building for their nuptials. I don't really do weddings that often, so I did keep it super simple. I didn't kind of go overboard or anything, but it is quite nice. Now, I would like to make it a bit more complicated, like the ceremony. I want to make it a bit more kind of focused on spellcasters. But now, of course, after they get married, that is when they're gonna start their family. I would like them to have a few kids, ideally. That that's the goal, but we'll kind of have to see how it goes. And then, of course, I think that will make it really interesting. I think after that point, because I suppose we'll be building spellcasters from scratch. I absolutely love the way I did it. I think was fine for how it turned out. I actually love having Sims from like the baby stage just because you can turn them into Super Sims, even though I've never actually made a Super Sim. But when I say Super Sim, for me, I kind of mean like you can kind of give them all the skills that you want them to have. And so I'm actually really excited. And I really want their kids to go to spellcaster school as well. So it's going to be so, so good. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, so now that it's daytime, I think we can start preparing for the wedding. The weather is super nice, which is ideal. When I do have weddings, I try have them in summer just because, at least that way you kind of are almost guaranteed good weather. So once Susanna shows up, I think we're gonna head over to the cathedral, and I really do need to put fencing around this flower bed. I keep forgetting to do it, but next time I think will be the time that yeah, because like people keep taking our flowers, and that's like perfectly good money, especially those birds of paradise. Those flowers give you so much money, so it like burns my soul every time I see NPCs take them. And yeah, even Susanna's frustrated. But anyway, so this is my cathedral. Oh, or I call it the Chapel of Mystics. And as you can see, it has the spellcaster glass, it has the spellcaster like lamp stand things, and it has pews. Now, I didn't bother with a cake and everything just because the My Wedding Stories pack is a bit complicated. It's not like the most intuitive, so I didn't even really bother. The only things, like the main thing I wanted was a cauldron, just because I kind of wanted to make it specific to spellcasters. So basically, after the wedding ceremony, I'm gonna have one of them just brew a really quick potion. And I think what I probably should have done is I really want to do like a love potion, but they don't really know that many potions. So I kept it super simple, some rice, some bubbles, and then they're gonna eat, make the potion, and then go outside for some photos. And then I would like them to go on a honeymoon. Again, I typically don't bother with the honeymoons just because it's just long, but I think it would be nice for them to kind of take in a bit of culture, you know, in this particular instance. And I love how everyone is in white. Their outfits look really good. That's like my favorite dress code to go with, white. I know obviously in real life people typically don't like their guests wearing white, but in the game I think it looks really nice when everyone is in white. It just looks really like classy and pure, and yeah, I thought it would be a really good touch. I put Susanna in this really simple gown. This is actually one of my favorite gowns. I kind of wish I had put her in more traditional clothing, to be completely honest, but she looks fine, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. For my next spellcaster wedding, there'll definitely be more traditional clothes involved, and I feel like this fountain is a really good place for them to take their photos. And then I'm going to break out the photographer stand in a second now just to get bigger photos with the Moschino stuff pack. I really like how the photos are a lot bigger. So whenever I'm having a wedding, I really like to try and use the Moschino stuff pack just because the poses are nicer, and also when you put the photos on the wall, they're a lot more aesthetically pleasing. So I'll break that out in a second now. But these are really nice candids. Um, just so their future kids can look back and reminisce. I love taking wedding photos in the game. It's just so like satisfying. And I think for their honeymoon I might send them to a castle just to take in some of the architecture. I don't know where though. I haven't decided yet. And then for now, I think I'm gonna just keep them in their old apartments because they really can't afford to live anywhere else at the moment. And I don't want to take out any loans, so after they get married, they're gonna just try make a bit of money and then try save up to get a bigger house. Now, okay, so the ceremony is over. They're back at the apartment. I'm having Zuzanna paint something just because the castle that I found for them to go to is really expensive. It's actually in Henford on Bagley. Now, it's not my castle. I didn't build it, but I thought it was so beautiful. I've had it actually for a while in the game, like in my save file for a while. It's so nice. Actually, I was doing I actually have a royal family, a spellcaster royal family in my game, and the castle was actually for like the relatives of the royal family, so that's why I actually have it. But I think it would be, I don't really have that many members in the family at the moment, so I thought it would be a really good location for them to go for their honeymoon. And so they're here in Infidon Bagley. I actually love this world so much because I love how green it is. It's so serene. So I thought this would be an ideal place. And then like they could even like maybe forage and like look for some stuff while they're there as well. So yeah, but I think I'm gonna leave it here. So if you watched to the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know how much more I'm gonna record on this side of things. I might show like the kids, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll kind of see how it goes. But if you did watch to the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you for the next episode.